Over the last couple of years, the Starlink Mini has become a real game changer in the van life world. Since the Starlink Mini came out, every single build that we've done, the customer has included a Starlink Mini in their build. We used to do a lot of WeBoost, and I never felt like those really did much. They might give you an extra bar on your cell phone service, but they don't really give you great connectivity in remote areas. The Starlink Mini is awesome, and I've got another video where I talk about all the different benefits of it. But if you're thinking about a Starlink Mini, you probably already know all those benefits. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to power your Starlink Mini. And really there's a kind of a good, better, and best way to power your Starlink Mini. And which one is best for you really depends on your situation. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the different power options that we use, and I'm going to explain the use cases for each. So if you've got a van or RV and you want to have a Starlink Mini in that, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get into it. So like I said, we've been doing the Starlink Mini in every build we do lately. This is my personal Starlink Mini. I bought it about a year ago and I just opened the box today. I have not used it. I bought it as a backup at my home. I have an EcoFlow at my house and I just wanted to have something that in an emergency I could connect. And that's something that's really nice about this. For $5 a month, you can put it in standby mode and then it's just there when you need it. You can turn it on and activate it and be able to use it in an emergency. In a van, our customers who have the Starlink Mini absolutely love it. It's very mobile. It's really relatively inexpensive. If you're using it on and off, you can get plans starting at around $50 a month. For unlimited use, it's more. I think it's $150, $160. The prices are changing all the time, so check their website for the exact pricing. Another nice thing about the Starlink Mini is that you can pause it whenever you want. So really you can go month to month. And if you're going to be traveling in your van for a few months, you can turn it on. And then if it's going to be stored, you can turn it off. And so it saves you money that way. So let's get into the ways you can power your Starlink Mini. The first way is using the 120 volt power supply that it comes with. The Starlink Mini comes with a cable, power cable. One of them is a weatherproof connection that plugs into the back of the Starlink Mini right here on the bottom side. You plug that guy in and then you plug the other side in to this power supply. You plug it into an outlet and you're good to go. Now I would say this is the worst way to power your Starlink Mini. The reason for that is you've got to run your inverter in order to do it. A lot of times people don't want to run their inverter. Most things in a van can be powered off of 12 volt power. Things like your refrigerator, your air conditioner, your lights, none of that needs your inverter. So there's no reason to run your inverter when you don't need it. The inverter uses some power just when it's turned on. It also creates heat. And so for those reasons, you really don't want to have to plug this thing in unless it's a temporary thing. If you're just going to have this somewhere else and you're going to take it on the road with you and you just want to be able to plug it in and use it at a campsite, that's fine. But other than that, get rid of this thing. So the next way that you can power this is Starlink sells a cigarette lighter adapter. And you plug it into the back of the Starlink Mini, you plug it into a cigarette lighter, and you're good to go. Now this is another way that I would say is a good temporary solution. I would say this is the good solution. You can put a cigarette lighter port somewhere in the back of your van and just keep it plugged in permanently, and that's fine too. But there are some drawbacks to that. I'm going to talk about those in a minute, and those really have to do with the cable that you're using when you run this on a cigarette lighter adapter. You really don't want to use a very long cable with that. So kind of the better way to do it is using a power supply that is kind of designed for something like the Starlink Mini. The reason for that is your Starlink Mini, Starlink recommends having a 100 watt power supply to be able to run it. It usually will use more like 40 to 60 watts, but it can get higher, especially when it's cold or if it's snowing, because this Starlink Mini actually heats up to melt off snow or ice. So it can use more power, and if you're in a really cold area, it can run that power continuously for quite a long time. That's why you need a power supply that can handle 100 watts. So this is one that we've used a lot. It's made by Cool Gear, and I link to this in our DIY van build materials list that you can access down in the description. That's a free document that you can access that has links to pretty much all of the components and materials and supplies that we use in our van builds. Okay, so this guy puts out 100 watts. You just plug in a positive and negative from your 12-volt system, and then it converts that 12-volt, or really you can run it directly off a 24-volt, and then it converts that to the 20 volts that your Starlink Mini wants. You'll need to buy another cable, a USB-C. So one end is going to go into the back of the Starlink. The other is going to be a USB-C plug that goes into this, and then you can run your Starlink off of that. Now these are good for short runs. If you have a run of maybe 10, 12, 15 feet from your roof down to where this power supply is located, that's going to be fine. But again, this is one of the limitations of this, and also the cigarette lighter adapter, is the length of the run. And the reason for that is you have voltage drop. With these small cables that you're going to use for these, running up to 100 watts continuously can put some strain on these cables, and that can cause some issues. We've had 2 of these units die on our customers. Both of those customers were in cold climates, and I have a feeling that it had to do with that heater running in the Starlink Mini antenna continuously, and just put too much strain on this guy, and they ended up dying. We sent them out a new one, they plugged it in, it was fine. So that brings me to what I would call the best option for running your Starlink Mini.
Hey guys, are you a DIY van builder? That's how we started, and we love to support the DIY community. So we've created some resources that have helped in our journey, and we've made them available to you. We've got a free spreadsheet with all of the materials we use in our conversions. That's taken hundreds of hours to research, and that we've tested and proven out. We have a download with the van build sequence that we use in all of our conversions. Plus, we've got other products on our website that tons of DIY builders have found helpful. Check out the links in description below for more details.
This is what's called a PoE injector. PoE stands for Power over Ethernet. You run power from your system, from your DC fuses to this. It can run off of 12 or 24 volts. And then this is going to convert it to 48 volts. If you remember, this guy converts it to 20 volts, okay? This one converts it to 48 volts and then runs the power to the Starlink antenna. And the way that this does this is just through an Ethernet cable. So you plug in the Ethernet cable into this little power supply, running that cable up to the antenna, and then there's a little splitter that connects to the end of the Ethernet cable and has 2 things coming off of it. One is that power supply plug that goes into the antenna, and the other is just an Ethernet cable. So you pull this little thing that they put in the antenna out, and then you can plug the Ethernet cable into this. Everything's weatherproof, and what this does is you can run much longer lengths of cable if you need it. If you need to go more than 10 or 12, maybe even 15 feet, I would highly recommend that you use this PoE injector rather than a traditional 12 volt or 24 volt power supply. Because it's delivering the power at 48 volts, you're not going to have to worry about that voltage drop nearly as much. Now your Starlink's not going to run any faster. It doesn't matter which of these options you use. Your download and upload speed is going to be the same either way, but it's that constant power supply. You're not going to have interruptions. You're not going to have to worry about it overheating. You're just going to have a much more stable power source. Another thing that's nice about these PoE injectors is it has another Ethernet port where you can plug in a router if you want to be able to use Wi-Fi separate from the Wi-Fi that's built into the antenna. If you want to use another router, or if you want to use like a PepLink or something like that in your van or RV, then you definitely want to go with this PoE injector. Now, speaking of speed, these guys are going to give you, just having it mounted flat up on the top of the van, you don't have to angle it towards the satellites. You just put it up there flat. As long as you have a clear view, you're going to get really good speeds, 100, 150, 200 megabits per second. So that's really nice. Speaking of the speed of the Starlink Minis, I just got a regular residential Starlink in my house, put it up about a week ago. I am blown away with how consistent the upload and download speeds are with it. I've had a lot of different internet services over the years. They'll tell you get 100 or 200 megabits per second, And you might get that at certain times of day, but there's other times where I get 30 or 40, and it's really all over the place, my speeds. I run speed tests all the time, and that speed can vary so much. I've had the Starlink residential mounted now for a week and a half, and I've run many speed tests at all different times a day, and I have the lowest level of service, 100 megabits per second. Doesn't matter when I do it, I'm getting 95 to 105 every single time. And my upload speeds are actually like 25 to 45 megabits per second, which is good for me because I'm uploading YouTube videos, and the upload speed for me is actually more important than the download speed. Doesn't matter which service you're on with Starlink, you're going to get the same upload speeds. Where you can upgrade to different services is in your download speed. But really for most people, 100 megabits per second is plenty for streaming, Zoom calls, all that kind of stuff. I'll drop a link to Starlink if you want to check out their systems. I'm down in the description. I'll also put one right up here. But I got the Starlink residential for 20 bucks. They're running something right now where depending on where you live, you might pay a little bit more, but all I had to pay was shipping of $20. They sent me the equipment, I hook it up, and my service is 50 bucks a month. It's pretty amazing. Their prices have really come down. So whether you're looking at the Starlink Mini for your van or RV or a Starlink residential for your home, I can't recommend it highly enough. Now, the last thing I want to mention is just mounting the Starlink Mini. I've got a couple other videos on this, but over the last year or so, a lot of new mounts have come on the market. I haven't found a bad one. They're all really good. This one's made by Trio. This is a really nice one. You just take off this plastic cover, you mount the Starlink Mini up inside, and then you screw it in, holds it securely, and then these are magnetic feet. These magnetic feet are super strong. This thing is not coming up. We're gonna be mounting this one on a safari rack, so they actually make little metal discs that you can, with a really strong adhesive, attach to the decking on the safari rack, and then this will magnetize to that. And then if the customer, say they're parked under trees or something and they want to be able to move it away, they can just pop this off, move it out, and set it down somewhere else. Another one we've used a lot is the Owl mount. That one's a really good one too. There are mounts on Amazon that we've used, and those are linked in our DIY van build materials spreadsheet. In fact, all the different ones we've used are on there, and they're all good. One thing I will say, some of them are like a tripod, 3 magnets, and some of them are 4. The problem with the 3, they work fine, but because of the ribs on top of a van, sometimes you can't put it like this because these 2 land in between ribs and then the middle one will land right on. So you usually are having to put it at a little bit of an angle like this. And so it might limit where you can put it a little bit, where if you have one with 4 mounts, you can mount it anywhere. The mounts are going to straddle the ribs wherever you put it. So that's the only kind of difference in the mounts. Other than that, they all work the same. They're all good. And one more thing I want to mention, if you're going with that PoE, Power over Ethernet system, when you get a cable, your Ethernet cable, you want to get a really high quality that's made for exterior use, okay? Because it's going to be on the roof of your van, you're going to have the UV rays beating on it. You want the good quality, you want it to be protected from those UV rays. So make sure that you get one that is exterior grade, and we've got a link to the one we use in our DIY van build materials list. So hopefully this video helped. If you're looking at ways to power your Starlink Mini, if you want to see more videos about van life, van building, van tips and tricks and pro tips, then please consider subscribing to our channel and be sure to smash that like button. And we'll see you in the next video. Jeff with Thrive Vans, thrive on. See ya.